Hello, I'm Themis and I'm coming from Bath Aqua Glass, situated in the heart of Bath, which is a World Heritage City. We have been here for 25 years, established ourselves as a gift shop and gallery, selling all sorts of glass products, many of which you can see behind me. We have a visitors centre in Bath also, which is a glass blowing factory, licensed cafe, and a place where you can come and have a breath in the bauble experience. I fell in love with glass many years ago, and always had an interest in art, always enjoyed making and being a creative person. So with my dyslexic background and school being a bit of a struggle, I decided to pursue the arts. It was something that I loved. I always loved the magic of medieval England, medieval Britain, and growing up with stained glass being a natural part of my life, just as a backdrop. I did an art foundation course and discovered a degree in medieval and architectural stained glass. And for me, that was just everything. It incorporated art and craft. I loved all aspects of making things on a hands-on level and as an artist. So for me, it was the perfect marriage of art and craft. And it was that stained glass introduction through Swansea Architectural Stained Glass College, which was my entry into the world of glassmaking. There's the art of life. And within the art of life, you have the art of art, the art of business, the art of selling, the art of cooking, the art of everything. I think everything has to feed your art of life. Again, in the educational sides of things, I think that's quite often lost because art is taught as almost like a fine art. The business side of things is lacking dramatically, unfortunately. But in real life, you can be really creative and you can do business in a very creative way. You can think completely outside the box and you can do all sorts of crazy ideas for self-marketing yourself or promoting yourself. As far as art and business goes, there's two ways of doing and making a living through business. One of them is, of course, to learn at college, do your university degree, learn everything textbook style. The other way, of course, is just doing it and learning by trial and error. For us, for example, we do Christmas markets. We've done all sorts of different fairs. We've done retail mobile units, which have been positioned in various shopping centres selling our glassware products. And being out there, it's almost like being a door-to-door salesperson. You're on the street and it's your energy which pushes everything forward. Business is energy, just the same as art is energy. Art is free-flowing energy coming from that space. But business is the energy of selling yourself, and most important part of what you do is enthusiasm. So if you're in the art business, you are naturally enthusiastic about what you do because you love your art. So that is your greatest and most powerful tool for selling your wares or your whatever you're making. So for us, it's our jewellery or vases, and because you love what you make up little stories so you can explain how things are made. People love that. That's what you call your USPs, your unique selling points. Having a glass blowing furnace and working with liquid glass has the history which dates back to the Roman period. So you've got 2,500 years worth of story in effect. So you can see behind me there's aqua-coloured glassware. The aqua comes from an ancient recipe, a recipe which is 2,500 years old. It combines copper and iron. These minerals combine with the liquid glass, they cool down to become this beautiful, refreshing colour. The colour is permanent, it's there forever. So this is a USP point because lots of jewellery is mass manufactured in the Far East and bought here, maybe finished off, but everything that we do, we try to incorporate almost like an organic farm. We promote the fact that we're using minerals, that it's made by hand, that it's not using moulds, that our glass is made with TLC. We run the business like a family business. Everybody is important. I do think also it's important to point out at this point, knowing a weakness is just as important as knowing a strength. So in business, you identify your strengths as a group and you promote those strengths. So if you know that you're not good with a particular thing, you work with people that can do that. Being in business is definitely like having a child or having a baby. It's not something that you turn off from like a normal job. And it is much harder than a normal job. Problems are challenges, and being in business is all about fixing those challenges and problem solving everything which comes along. continually problem solving. Sustainability is very important in this day and age. It's one of the great subjects of our time. It's always on our mind. Our furnaces are double lagged, so they're about as efficient as they can be. Soon the technology will be there to have electric kilns. At the moment, technology doesn't seem to be quite there to be able to make the leap, but we are continuously looking at that. We've recently exchanged our petrol and diesel vehicles for electric ones to try and be as green as possible. But the most important thing to remember is energy and product. You have got here pieces of glass that aren't going to decompose. Romans made glass. You can still see pieces that are intact 2,500 years later. These products aren't disposable products. They're there forever. These are the antiques of the future. And that's one of the greatest things and the biggest reasons why I was drawn to become a stained glass artist originally, because I could make things that could potentially last 1,000 years, even if they do need to be re-leaded in 300. Innovation is utterly important and it never stands still. In fact, I would go as far as saying, as soon as you stop, you get left behind. It's a continuous matter of reinvention, especially because if you have a good product, a couple of years later, you'll see it being mass manufactured overseas anyway. My younger self probably would never believe that the older self is doing this. Firstly, because my idea of what a business person is and what a business person actually is miles apart. My younger self would definitely, I think, be very happy. 25 years of being in business, pushing relentlessly. So one thing I would like to say is out of crisis comes opportunity. Latest world crisis, COVID-19. We've had to really look at how we can mutate the business. And again, looking at strengths and weaknesses. So we have 3 sites, and one of the sites we were looking to increase the visitors' numbers. So we applied for a licensing to be able to sell alcohol, and we have our main city centre shop next to the Abbey in Bath where we are now, but in Walcott Street where we have our glass blowing factory. The factory shop we have now converted into a cafe. So we've turned a negative into a positive. The business is bigger and better and stronger for it now, because the actual cafe gives people the opportunity to come and not only do glass making experiences, but have refreshments as well. People can drink champagne out of one of our blown glasses and then have the opportunity to buy the glass afterwards. Whatever happens that seems like a negative can always be turned into a positive. This shop is the most fantastic position ever. We are literally positioned a few meters away from the Bath Abbey, right in the very centre of Bath. My one piece of advice for any inspired creative person that wants to pursue having a life making artistic items is to realise that to make your art is just one part of being in business. If you want to be a creative person and you want to make a living out of your creativity, realise that maybe that's going to be 20% of your time, and the rest of the time is just as essential as what you're doing for your creativity, because your creativity is your product. You can make a living out of business and not be an artist. You can't make a living out of being an artist if you don't know your business.